All right, so it's time to select an RV, and you're at that first fork in the road where you want to choose a drivable or a towable. Why might someone choose a towable over a drivable?
A towable, you have the option to bring your vehicle with you. So you can still do that in the motorized, but in this case, if you have a pickup truck and you're towing the trailer, now the pickup truck becomes your vehicle. Once you set the trailer off at the campsite, you have no vehicle to go around the city, go wherever you'd like. Now, towables are nice because you can leave them in places for long periods of time, as opposed to a motorhome. Motorhomes have a lot of mechanical parts with the engine, the wheels and stuff. You know, when you leave a car sitting for a long period of time, it doesn't really work good for the mechanical side of things. On trailers, there isn't those mechanical aspects to it. So you can leave this fifth wheel that we're in right now in a park all year round and just leave it there and go visit it.
A trailer is basically just a box on wheels,
Correct.
right? So those mechanical parts you're talking about, it's not going to move on its own. You need to have a separate vehicle to move it. That's its own.
You have a truck. Usually for most of these things, the larger ones at least, you would want a pickup truck or a significantly bigger pickup truck for these items. But the other trailers, the smaller ones, SUVs, even minivans can still haul those as well. So on a fifth wheel, you have the front area that comes up and sits over the box of your pickup truck, which has many advantages. Now, the trailer does become more one with the vehicle, so to say, where the hitch is right above the wheels, so all the weight is sitting on top of the vehicle rather than behind it, sitting on top over the axle, almost more forward on the vehicle, creating better fuel efficiency when towing. And now also the trailer becomes shorter because the pivot point is further up on the truck. So you gain a lot of space with the fifth wheels. As well as, if you notice in this one, you gain a lot of ceiling height. So there's a lot of advantages. Also, fifth wheels are the safest trailers to tow because it almost eliminates sway from happening behind you because of where the weight is sitting on the vehicle. It's more planted. Therefore, it is a lot safer to tow.
You're not towing a fifth wheel with even a large SUV. You can't do that.
You can't do that. It has to be a pickup truck because it's sitting in the bed.
What if you have a smaller SUV or maybe a minivan?
So with the minivan category, you must be under 3,500 pounds. So you can haul anything from a little tent trailer, the pop-up style ones with the canvas sides. You can do it from that all the way to even close to 20 feet, as long as it's on an aluminum build, and that'll keep it underneath that 3,000 pound mark.
What kind of size range are we looking at with all sorts of towables? Like, how small can they get and how large can they get?
So the smallest one I have here on the lot is a 10-footer, which just consists of a bed and an outdoor kitchen. It's really cool, actually. So you can go anywhere from that small all the way up to 38-foot travel trailer.
What's our next deciding point that we have to consider?
So with the towables, it's how far are you looking to travel? As I was talking about aluminum builds, where if you need something that's lightweight because you're traveling all over the place, you don't want to be paying lots of money in fuel. So having something lighter is better, but it's a little bit more expensive because now it's made out of aluminum instead of wood. So it comes down to, again, tow vehicle, where you want to go, and how many people you want to travel with you.
Okay, let's talk about the number of people that you want to sleep. Obviously, the 10, 12 one that you were saying,
yes,
that's not going to sleep, a family of 4.
It'll sleep 2, or you might want to bring a tent with you for outside. But for the trailer aspect, it would only sleep 2.
Well, this particular model, without focusing on this one model as being the be-all and end-all or anything, does have kind of like something that turns into a bed at every turn. Yet, it's not a box filled with beds. All of this is living space that serves a second purpose.
Correct. That can be converted into something else. So very rarely do I have a customer that comes in and I don't have something that'll work for them in that aspect. There's always something that I can find that will work for them.
Where are towables in the realm of cost as compared to, say, drivables?
The towables will be always lesser because there's not 2 components involved, both mechanical plus the trailer, right? So when you get a motorhome, both of those things are combined together. So now, because this does not have the drivetrain underneath it, the engine, transmission, and everything else, it does bring down the price quite a bit to at least half or lower.
Any downsides to buying a trailer?
I've never had somebody that's bought a trailer that's told me they didn't like it, right? It's just, this is one of the only things that you ever buy strictly for fun. right? This is for enjoyment. The only downside I could say to having a trailer, some people may not have the room to store it personally on their property, so sometimes they do have to get storage elsewhere. But the nice thing about having a trailer is you could bring it to a site and plant it there, leave it there, and go to it whenever you'd like. So that's kind of nice where motorhomes.
Energy from the sun, for example, you can charge your batteries from solar panels that will put energy into the batteries that you can use for later. Or you can actually plug into shore and use a converter or an inverter charger to take that AC current from shore, make it DC, and put energy into your batteries that you can use for later. You can also charge the batteries while you're driving because your alternator is making electricity from the motor, so you can actually take that electricity and put it into your battery so that you can use it later.
One of the characteristics that RVers should be aware of when using battery power is how it differs from the power you would get from a power outlet.
So the main difference between the power that you get from a battery and the power you get from your home is the voltage and the type of current that it is. For example, from when you plug into an outlet at your house, you get alternating current, you get AC power, typically in the United States at 120 volts. When you get a battery, a nominally 12-volt battery, you'll get a much lower voltage, 12 volts, and a direct current, or DC current. And so if you want to plug in appliances that actually are meant to operate off of AC current, then you need what's called an inverter. An inverter will take your battery's DC current at 12 volts and make it into an AC current at 120 volts, 60 hertz. And also, if you want to use AC current when you're plugged into shore to charge your battery, then you need a converter to take that AC current and make it into DC current to charge your battery.
On the extreme ends of the rechargeable battery technology spectrum are lithium-ion and lead-acid. While lead-acid has historically been the go-to for RVers, factors such as weight, size, maintenance, and lifespan are swaying RVers toward the far superior lithium-ion technology. Sean Nichols is the COO of Battleborn Batteries.
Some of the differences between a lithium-ion battery and a lead-acid battery, basically based on performance and experience. When you use a lithium battery, you get 2 to 3 times more deliverable power. I mean, lead is dead. Let's just get upfront about it. It doesn't matter which lithium battery you're using. In any device that you're using these days, in your computer, in your cell phone, in your RV, in your boat, if you have a lithium bank inside, there's a reason why it's in there, and because it has way more deliverable power at a much lighter weight. So the footprint of the battery now, you can actually store enough power to run more things for longer with lithium.
There's a few reasons why a lot of RVers are starting to choose lithium-ion batteries over lead-acid batteries. They're just so much lighter. They're so much easier to install. They're so much easier to move. Another #1 reason is the lifetime cost of the battery. So you pay more upfront for a lithium-ion battery, but in terms of the number of recharge cycles, a lithium-ion battery can be discharged and charged thousands of times as compared to hundreds of times for a lead-acid battery. Then, of course, there's the environmentally friendliness of a lithium-ion battery, particularly lithium iron phosphate. But lead-acid batteries, you know, they have heavy metals, they've got lead in it, they're corrosive, they've got acid in it. And one other difference I will add is the reliability. You don't really have to maintain a lithium-ion battery at all. You don't have to worry about discharging it too much, provided you have a battery management system, which is standard in most lithium-ion battery packs. As long as you have that, you just sort of plug it in and go, and you don't have to worry about ruining the battery.
Clearly, there are many factors to consider when deciding which battery is right for you. It might seem like any old battery will suffice, but the decision you make will have a great impact on your experience away from power in your home away from home.
Let's break down this situation. So if a customer is considering buying a lithium battery, they're gonna take a couple of days off of work, right? It's gonna cost money. They're gonna fill up their vehicle, they're gonna drive 400 to 600 miles to some beautiful place, get 8 miles to the gallon, they have to gas up several times, a couple $100 worth of food to pull in there with a lead acid battery bank in this beautiful trailer they got that has like one lead acid battery in the front of it. It's like pulling a jet with a bicycle. And they're gonna listen to their generator run all weekend. Be the most unpopular person in the campground. And if they're boondocking, why would you want to go somewhere beautiful and listen to your generator run all weekend? Why wouldn't you fund the right battery bank for a second home?
Connection, an integral component of our lives that also happens to be one of the most fulfilling aspects of life on the road. It's the chance to meet people from across the country, across the continent, and even around the world who are all drawn to an untethered lifestyle. And while each new adventure comes with another opportunity for connection, you never quite know who you're going to meet next.
I'm Cherie.
And I'm Chris.
And we're Technomadia.
I used to work in Silicon Valley and lived in San Francisco, and in 2006 I evicted myself and hit the road as a full-time technomad in a teeny tiny little teardrop trailer to start to see the world and explore the country. And my first year on the road ended up meeting her.
I was living in Florida on the opposite side of the country. I was work at home. I ran a software development company, and I was already used to doing a lot of personal travels and working remotely to support my clients. So when I met this guy and he proposed that I move into his little tiny teardrop trailer, well, that didn't concern me. What I was concerned about was if I could keep connected well enough to continue to work full-time while we traveled. And we were. We did not have an air conditioner on that first RV. We didn't have a refrigerator, and we didn't have a bathroom. Crazy, but we had solar and we had mobile internet. So we were able to do a full year on the road together as a trial with our relationship and prove that we could do it. And then we started moving into larger RVs that were a little more comfortable.
Yeah. Had a bathroom. Next one did.
In-person connection is one thing, but in the modern world, connection has a wider connotation. For RVers, it's also the ability to stay technologically connected while living on the open road. Little did Cherie and Chris know that their shared desire to remain connected from the open road would open the door to an opportunity to collaborate on a new endeavor, one that sums up their chosen lifestyle of nomadic techies to a T.
I'd been living on mobile internet since before Wi-Fi was a thing. That was kind of my area of focus in California and Silicon Valley. I was at Palm and Palm Source and doing mobile stuff forever. And so when I hit the road, it was just what I was used to. I was already living mobile even though I had a house, and it's just gotten easier and easier over the years. But it's, we were there at the very beginning of when technology made all of this possible.
And because I was running my software company remotely, and we were both bloggers when we met. We both had personal blogs back then, and we just combined our blogs and started Technomadia. And we're just talking about our travels, and we'd mention, we're working for our client this day. And some of the most frequent questions that we were getting is, well, how are you keeping connected? So we wrote blog posts about that. And then we started getting lots and lots of questions, and it became a point that, okay, I can either be spending all my time answering all these questions, or I can have my full-time job being a software developer. I can't do both.
And it turns out there's enough support from the community to let us make answering people's questions and helping people find the best ways to stay connected our full-time jobs now.
Having long since graduated from the days of being holed up in Chris's teardrop RV, their current digs of a converted 1961 vintage bus are much more accommodating to the working, traveling, adventuring couple they are. Yet for all of their dedication to RVing, these tech nomads see a life on the road as a much broader lifestyle than one might think.
We are building a fleet of nomadic vessels.
Literally a fleet. Our other house is a Bayliner 4788 motor yacht, and we've been spending half the year cruising up and around the Great Loop, and the other half of the year we'll be spending back in our RV.
Over the course of their adventures with Technomadia, Cherie and Chris may well have become authorities on mobile internet connectivity for fellow nomads the world over. But they're quick to point out that behind the scenes, someone else is calling the shots.
So the most important thing you need to know about us is that our lives are ruled by our cat, Kiki. She is the boss of everything we do, and she is the admiral of our fleet.
While a nomadic lifestyle split between land and sea may sound unorthodox to some, for Technomadia, not only is this connection natural, they wouldn't dream of having it any other way.
The more natural progression is you start with a sailboat when you're younger and you have the energy to keep up with that lifestyle. Then you move to a powerboat because it's a little less work. Then you go to a motorhome.
Yes. And then they say nursing home and funeral home is the proper progression.
So we're doing it a little bit backwards.
Yes.
RVs have always been our home away from home, allowing us to bring the amenities and creature comforts of home out into the wilderness wherever we go. But more and more, that means power demand. Appliances, electronics, and other devices are sucking up more and more electrons than they ever have before. And that means that power is something we need to pay attention to when we're hooking up at a campground.
By their very nature, RVs are designed to be taken into many different places. This includes older campgrounds and RV parks that may not have the electrical grid needed to support the power demands of modern RVs. Unlike at home, where it's easy to take the clean, continuous power you receive for granted, the further out you go in your RV, the more likely you are to encounter a problem with the electricity. Experiencing unexpected power surges or overheating due to low voltages can be outright damaging to onboard appliances and electronics. This makes taking necessary precautions to protect both yourself and your investment a crucial step in preparing for life on the open road.
The first and simplest solution is to provide surge protection for your RV. In addition to protecting yourself against the potential dangers of a powerful surge, modern surge protectors can also provide diagnostics to check the actual wiring of the park pedestal. A miswired pedestal can cause just as much damage as a nearby lightning strike, damaging your electronics, your air conditioners, and other devices on board, and leading to an expensive repair bill. And taking it one step further, we often take for granted that the power supplied at our homes is a steady, even voltage. 110, 120 volts is what we've all come to assume is coming out of every outlet in our homes. But again, out in a remote location in an RV park, potentially one that was wired long ago when RVs were not as power hungry as they are today, means you could be subjecting your RV to dangerously low or even dangerously high voltages. So having a device that can detect these potential low and high voltages, shutting the power off in order to protect everything on board from being damaged, is a small investment where an ounce of protection is definitely worth a pound of cure. But aside from just detecting and shutting off the power when it gets bad, what if you still want to be able to operate everything on board and make sure that it's being properly cared for? That's when a device like an autoformer can come in handy. Plugged in line between your RV and the park's pedestal, it's constantly monitoring the power being provided to your RV and making sure that the output voltage is within a safe and protective range for all of the devices on board. Basically, it takes a little bit of extra power, a few extra amps, and converts it into additional voltage to take that sagging and low voltage coming in from a park pedestal that may not be providing what you're expecting, and boosting it into the safe level to make sure that everything on board operates the way it was intended. If you've ever been plugged into a pedestal at an RV park and felt the transformer that provides power for your laptop or your desktop computer, you may have noticed that it got exceptionally hot. And that's because transformers are one of the devices that are particularly sensitive to low voltages. That same situation is true for your air conditioners. When your air conditioner fires up, it takes an additional boost of power to get everything rolling and get that compressor running to start the cold airflow. When that happens and the voltage is low, your air conditioner has to draw additional amperage, and that extra power flowing through the wiring of the motor and the compressor causes extra heat that's damaging it over time. So having an autoformer in line with your power supply means that when your air conditioner fires up and the autoformer is providing the proper voltage to it, it's able to keep you cool without damaging it. So once you've got safe power being provided to your RV, what about when you want to be away from the RV? Say, a long day out hiking or taking a picnic someplace really scenic. Sometimes you want to be able to bring that power with you. Having a portable lithium battery with USB ports and a 12-volt outlet means we can bring some of those creature comforts with us on our trip and make sure that we're keeping them powered all day. Now, that picnic you're going on, you're going to want to bring food. And traditionally, that meant loading up your cooler with a bunch of ice and packing everything inside. But if you don't like having everything soggy and wet by the time you get to your picnic spot, bringing along a portable refrigerator freezer can really make the difference between a picnic that was so-so and a gourmet experience. Combining a portable lithium battery and a portable refrigerator freezer means the best of all worlds. Whether your RV is large or small, extra refrigerator space or freezer space can really extend your ability to stay out away from civilization and enjoy all the creature comforts of home.
The luxury of taking the comforts of home with you on the road is one of the many joys of RV living. With a proper understanding of the limits to the power that you have access to, the means by which to make the best and safest use of that power, and the ways in which you can take that power with you in order to extend your time away from your RV and civilization, will help to ensure that you're able to make the most of the RV lifestyle.